Right, good morning. I didn't record all this, I had to get some people to help me. We also put this back top piece on here. You saw me put the windows in and everything. Obviously we put this top seal on as well. There is a bit of a lap there, don't know why, because obviously the bolts are lined up. We'll just take you through a few bits of it. Everything's bolted in how it should be and pretty well lined up. Good, so we're quite pleased with what's gone on. Obviously, as you know, these gaps and how that was there was a bit of a concern, but the door gaps and everything are good. You can see here we might have a little bit of a touch there, which isn't a big deal, but our bolts in here have lined up. The bolts are lined up, all the bolts along there. I did leave this piece of film long there. Probably shouldn't have done, but it doesn't matter. We brought this because you put a piece of film in the back here. You can put tiger seal around here as well, but you can see how the roof goes. You can see there that don't look as greatly sealed as what it could, so we'll be putting some dum-dum in there. That could be that foam holding it out a little bit, what we left long. I left it right long just to pick that up, but there's a piece of square foam in there, which you have to add in as well. So you know there's always an issue in that part of the roof. It's the same here. You see that foam actually look better in this, better placed in this one. That was a bit of foam I cut myself, I think. But we pulled this one forward a little bit more, so it's a little bit more forward than what it should be. But that might pay to squeeze a bit of tiger seal or something around there. Maybe I'll do that. But the bolts are all tight. You can see I left that long. That stopped us from scratching the top of there really when we lifted the roof on, and don't seem to make no difference really. We can cut that off if we need to. I did put some butyl tape in there. Don't really need anything. Normally you put a bit of felt in there, but that's all tight. Gaps are good. And here that's sort of more or less lined up perfectly. Gaps all good. This went in as it should have done. Washer on there. This one had a washer underneath and a washer on top because that's how it was. And I put these spaces back to how they were originally. I did leave this one long just so we had a little bit of adjustment on this part to get the roof in. But as you can see, all the bolts are done up tight. And apart from one there we've got a cross threaded on, but we can sort that one out. And I've got a couple of bolts to add at the top here. I never had all the bolts in originally when I took them off. Other than that, we're all nice and tight. I will just go round them again, being maybe they're settled a bit. We will be putting some soundproofing up here just to stop this at some point. But today we'll get the seat box in. So this is a couple of bits of the foam left over from doing the window, and obviously I bought some of that foam and used it in the front footwells. We could use that, but I did buy some more butyl tape. This time it's a little bit thinner and it's grey. I mean, you're not going to see it anywhere. I mean, that is better to use the black stuff. You didn't really want grey sticking out there, but depends what colour the car is, I suppose. That one was half the price, so this was only £12, I think. So it's quite good. So I'll just go round, tighten some bolts up, make sure everything's tight, and then we'll fit the seat box in. I'm going to cut some speakers into the seat box. These are some speakers I've had for ages, so we'll cut them in, maybe. Let's see how they look. They might not even fit, so they don't even fit. They're too big. So I have to think of somewhere else to put the speakers once we get the seats in and everything. I might even put some of that cheap carpet over here because you can slide stuff behind the seats, and I don't want everything to get scratched. But so I might just stick some carpet along there because we've got loads of it. But we'll get this back box in and then carpet it, I suppose. Yeah, also these brackets were on the build when I took it apart, so I don't know if they're supposed to be there or not. Don't really look like they are supposed to be there, does it? So I don't know, I might leave them off for now and just see. But we'd have to drill this hole out a bit bigger because I've left half the rivet in. And obviously I haven't put the rivets back into here, so unless they were used for something. They don't look original, do they? I don't know. What do you think? The other thing I did do yesterday was just put some diff oil in. So you want 70-80 on the diffs, MTF 94 in the gearbox, 70-80 in the transfer box, and 530 in the engine, or 540 apparently some people use. So I'm going to stick the tape on this end first this time. And then lay it in place. I was thinking about using the felt along this line, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you're never going to take this out again, are you? So might as well just stick it in. We've got loads left over, what we can use on our other Landrover. Just going to use a screwdriver to poke through the boot hole. Just going to pre-make these holes. I don't always do that, but it may take 5 minutes. It's handy to keep the tape, the paper on as well when you do this, because you can just poke through the hole like that. Something I've learned as we've gone along. I'm going to hold that. Just lay this in place. And then we'll take the tape off. Pull out the back of the putty, see where the screwdriver's just pushed the putty out, so you might as well pull that off, get it out of the way. You're left with a nice hole then. I got this pack from Yarn. It was like 30 quid. I suppose that's not too bad then. You get some M6 penny washers and that. I think that's actually not a bad deal then. All nice and stainless. There's already a penny washer on the other side of this one. I'll go through it. Try a different hole. Oh yeah, that's gone through. A little bit of rubber in the way. I'm using rubber, even though it's got this bolt like that, I'm still putting washers on because I don't like it scratching the paintwork. I've done the same with the roof. The roof doesn't have washers, but I added washers. I might have to start off with some longer bolts just to pull this up enough. We'll stick the longer bolt in first, just to pull it up a bit. Up tight until we get them all in. As you can see, because we had a bit of a wider gap than usual, I might have to just drill up through the hole, through the bottom, and just sort them ones out. I've got to just pull them up and see what happens. Then I'll get back to you. And you can see here, I'll have to just open this. We just opened that hole out a little bit because it won't line up. But if we can get a bolt in there. Sorry, the picture isn't very good there. There, we can get a bolt in there now. So I've got them 2 bolts tightened up there. These ones I'm going to have to drill through afterwards, so I'm going to leave them for now. We'll go around the other side and tighten the bottom up there, and then we'll slowly go across the top, make sure everything pull itself up. As you can see, I've got all the bolts in on this side, so there don't seem to be any issue. So what I'm going to do is just tighten these ones up, because they look as though they will pull up easy. So you never know when you take your Landrovers apart, you never really know how well put together that was and how far out that was, because it just all spring apart, doesn't it? Seem to be pulling the floor up as well. I don't know if it's a good idea to do it like this or what. That's got to go together, hasn't it, somehow. There's a good job there's a couple of layers of tape in there, so it should keep that a bit thicker than what it normally is. But you can see us probably distorted things a little bit. Right, that seems to be doing up okay. So, like I say, unless you've done this before, you don't really know how these things go together. They all seem to be going in all right. I'm tempted to drill through and put some extra bolts in, just to pull it right up. That was definitely better than this when I took it apart. See, it's now broke that seat box there, look. And there, and there, and there. So this isn't good. So I'm going to have to loosen up the front of this and maybe put some packing under it. Maybe put a bit of strip of back packing in the back of it. Don't know really. Could do that, I suppose. But because it's aluminium, aluminium tends to just crack, not bend, like it has done there. I've got this piece of aluminium there, you see, and I could put that in there. Could have done with being a bit longer, but that's what that need. Because there's too much to pull up. We don't want to pack where the floor is. Right, so we took them bolts out. We've got a bit. This is the only trouble we're using the butyl tape. You see how sticky that is? But I mean, what a great water barrier. But we're going to stick. I'm going to cut this. We're going to stick that in there, and that will give us enough spacing. I think maybe what will be a bit thicker than that. I've actually found a longer piece. So I'm going to stick that in there, cut that down, drill some holes in it, and we'll put that in here, and that should cure our problem, what we've got here. Right, so we've made this up. I mean, I was going to cut the lip off, but I'm just going to sit it in there over top of that like that. I'm going to put the butyl tape on both sides, which is going to be an awful hard work to get that in, but if you are watching the video and you have got a space when you put your seat box back and everything else lines up when you got the roof on, at least you know you can put this spacer in before you get too far and make a mess, so to speak. But I'm going to put the butyl tape on both sides and then I'll come back. Right, so here's the moment of truth. We'll see if we can manipulate this in without doing too much damage. Obviously the spacer is only behind the back box and the back plate is still against this, you know. Just got to loosen off a couple of bolts here. A bit more. I'm just going to have to push it down, hope for the best by the looks of it. A really fine bloody scratch. That's what happens when lots of people are around. Look at that, look, just light, fine scratch there. Could be done by a fingernail or anything, but hopefully that'll T-cut out. Right, let's see if we can get these. See if we can get this in. I'm just going to try and pull it away as much as possible and then squeeze it in. Seems our screwdriver will push through alright, but when it comes to putting the bolt in, I don't want to know. Typical. Right, so we've got it in. We have still got an odd crack here and there, so I don't know, I might drill and put another couple of holes in just a security thing. All the other bolts are in. I haven't gone up right tight there because obviously we've got a spacer there, so I've left that a bit loose. That does seem to have pulled the floor up a bit, but I don't think that's going to be a major issue. And I had to just drill out these two holes here. They didn't quite line up, but like I say, I didn't pull up that one very tight because of that. These are pulled up nice and tight. You see we've got a bit of a crack there. That was from last time when we first thought we were going to pull it up. So I might just drill some holes and put a couple of extra fixings in. Now I'm here. So I could do that just to make it a little bit stronger. Won't do no harm. Right, well, you know how I hate drilling things, but I've drilled another hole there, another hole there, another hole there, another hole there. So we've got another 4 holes in the back of there just to make things perfect. So we'll get them bolts in. Right, we've got another couple of bolts in there, so I'm happy with that now. I'm just going to paint this black, clean up that swarf. Super duper. So now we're going to put a bit of carpet in. And a bit of a doo-doo. I'm not going to put, I've got a couple of bits of this sound deadening in there. I've got some other, I've run out of this stuff, so I've got some other stuff that I'll put a strip along the floor. But you can hear here, I don't think we're really going to gain anything by putting it on here, on the seat box. So we'll just put some doo-doo mat. We'll just put some doo-doo mat and some carpet. Yeah, so I suppose we gain a bit of vibration by putting some sound deadening on here. But not a lot. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just put some of this instead, all the way around. All I'm going to do is go round the seat box. Ready for carpeting, because I have seen this put on the floor, but from what I'm read, you should keep this off the floor, so I'm not going to put it on the floor. Rubber only, well, removable products on the floor, so you can ensure you don't get no water ingress. Because once that water get underneath something like this, you'll never get it out until the floor drop out. And Landrovers are renowned for that happening. The reason there's only 2 bolts here is because the brackets there are still on the seats on this particular seat. I should have took them off really. They obviously are going to need painting up, so something I'm going to have to check on. I mean, it always amazes me how these carpet fitters, they always make the corner look perfect, don't they? God knows how they do it. I can't believe this Stanley knife is a brand new one out of the box. You know, that they look a bit scruffy there, but don't worry because the carpet's going to cover it up. You don't need to worry too much about it. Things sometimes look a mess when you do this film, because it will sort itself out in the end. That's only adding a padding for the carpet to sit on at the end of the day. The idea is to make sure it don't rip, because obviously you can use some of these little patches here and there. If you needed to. Look along the back here if you wanted to. Just go along the back. Like I say, the carpet's going to cover it all up anyway. There's no need to worry too much about it. I mean, I could do, couldn't I? I think I'd look nice to carpet that piece. Something we'll have to deal with when we're ready, I think. That's the other little problem we had, that little gap there, so I'm going to put a little bit of sound deadening over that. Show you on the other side. Here, look, and I'll do the same to that side. Like I showed you earlier, if you look in there, that's a good seal there. That's okay. If you look inside this one, I don't know if you can see, but you can see a little bit of daylight coming through there. So we're going to stick a little bit of this dum-dum in there to make sure we don't get no leaks. So I just stuck a little bit of dum-dum in there. Should sort that out. I managed to get the carpet in with the remainder of my glue. I'm just going to get these bolts pushed through. Probably should have loosened the bolts off first. That would have been easier to get them through. I might stick a bit of stuff across here as well, just for protection, in case I put something behind the seats. I'll see what it looks like when I get the seats in.